Who predicted I'd be pregnant? We had a psychic party at my house on the 8th of Feb, and we said 6 to 8 weeks, Dad. So Anthony was also one of the October authors, and this is his book, Secret Spiritual Business. And tonight he will be presenting to us how to use sound and various meditation techniques to bring about focus and direction for work, home life, and general well-being. Anthony operates several businesses from his studio and research. He's a psychic medium, freelance photojournalist, so that's why you also love this. That's why he's smiling. Musician, energy worker, educational facilitator, and mentor. Anti-Fiction is a freelance photojournalism side of the business that includes working for On the Road magazine as the off-the-road editor, specialising in four-wheel driving, caravan, and touring work. Anthony has worked in these fields for over 17 years, where his mechanical background helps with writing technical articles and trade-based press releases. Bridging Realms is the spiritual side to the business. Anthony has been actively working with the spirit for the past 10 years. During this time, he has become qualified in massage, spirit healing, and Reiki, and Sekyum Master. In 2010, while studying in India, Anthony undertook volunteer work with Tibetan monks and Tibetan refugees. Anthony also facilitated several intuitive development groups each week. In 2013, he started a spiritual coach to help people with their spiritual journey, both personally and professionally, with a holistic approach to living and working. This has started with the launch of this new book, Secret Spiritual Business, Unlocking the Power of Holistic Success. So put your hands together.
Thank you, and good evening, everybody. So tonight I wanted to talk about different forms of meditation to bring about focus in not only your work life, your home life as well, and then also to help bring up your energy. It's always really good because I look at people and I see energy around them and I go, oh, okay, so they're really flat, or this is happening, and they'll quite often say, yes, that's what it is. And how do I prove that? How do I prove it? And so I developed a system where I use divining rods to show how people's energy works. So has anyone not seen divining rods before? Yeah. Okay, so these are just little bits, like I could weld if I needed to. If I needed to bronze something in the bush, I could just get a bit of heat. It's just literally bronze, but the plastic sleeve, so they spin around. So the idea behind it is diviners have used something like this for years and years and years, centuries, where they would have a stick, and as they walk, and they're walking over the water, the stick will go down. And so they go, dig here, you'll find water. Okay, so I've adapted this from some techniques that I've learned over the years to give fairly accurate measurements of people's chakras, or their actual aura, which is made up of all the different chakras. Okay. So what I've needed to do is find something that worked, and so that's what we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to use a couple of different people tonight. So who here is feeling a bit flat? So we got to. I tell you what, I'll work with you first, and then I'll come back to you in a minute. So come up here if you wouldn't mind. I know, and your name is? Scott. Scott. This is Scott, everybody. Around the floor. So what I'm going to get you to do is just stand over there and face me. So when I'm using these, I'll quite often just go, okay, get myself ready, get my energy right, and I'll say to the divining rods, and then ultimately to the spirit world, open for yes. Okay. And I keep my hands very still when I do it because I don't want to be influencing because they're so soft. So they're open for yes. Then I'll sort of say, right, I want to know, and I'll talk to them about crossing over. Again, because I'm not touching the metal, it's not actually meant to me. So then I can do other things like I can be here and I'll say point to the lung. And so it's very accurate. I was working in a haunted location one time and we had a Channel 7 journalist there filming. He was very, very sceptical. And so I had a person using a set of divining rods and I said, look, it will settle this really easily. Point to the two journalists, or point to the journalists in the room, and he thought he was the only journalist, he didn't know what it is. And so one rod went to me, one rod went to him, and And I said, is anyone else here in the room a journalist? And our hands went up, and he said, good trick. So, and I wasn't operating a rod, so it wasn't me doing it. So what I've done is I've devised a system to work with people where I can accurately measure their chakras, 7 levels of the chakras, to the inside of where they are. So you have a balance where one flows into the other. So in a perfect world, they all flow nicely, and you're all good. But they do change. And so then we measure the overall energy. So we're going to measure Scott's overall energy at the moment. Okay. So we're about here. So it's not very good. Right? However, he said he's flat, and that's okay, because it changes for everybody, and your aura changes all the time. Okay, all the time, and depending on your emotional state, which is why focus and balance meditation comes in really strongly. So what I'm going to get you to do is right there for me, and what I'm going to get everybody else to do is sit there. So in my world, I have 3 basic types of meditation. I have a rejuvenation meditation, I have an external meditation and an internal meditation. And I break them down into little things after that. But they're just my 3 basic ones. A rejuve meditation, you're holding your hands over your solar plexus, just below your ribcage, between your ribcage and your belly button. And that's, you just lie back, let yourself go off, and it's like having a nana nap. Or your power nap when you get old, go on the road, pull off. Tired, go to sleep. That's what I call it. So if you cover your solar plexus though, this is your main feeling centre. So that stops all the energy connecting with everybody around you. And so it's really important. Cover it with your hands, lie back, go to sleep. You might find yourself with your hair going off to one side, the dribble coming out, and the usual thing that happens. That's okay. That's okay. That's what you want to happen. Because what essentially is happening is your physical body staying there, your spiritual body steps out, which means your mind steps out with it, and your body gets the energy wherever it needs. So that's regional meditation. Then we have internal, external. Internal is a meditation that I teach people that helps them when they're not well. And so when they're going to bring energy back into their bodies. And that's really important. Whereas an external meditation in my world is going out into the astral world, going out to connect with spirit people, whatever I'm doing on that level. Okay, so very different. And it all uses different energy. So what I'm going to do for all of you now, especially for Scott, we're going to try, we know Scott's energy was only about this far. I want to bring it out to here something, so I want to get a sense of that. However, there's no reason why you can't all enjoy the focus as well. So what I'd like you to do is all sit with your feet flat on the floor and place the palms of your hands just down on the top of the legs. Okay? When you're doing a rejuve meditation, internal meditation, even external, depending on where you are, if you've got your hands on your legs, the chakras that are in your hands that perform the healing energy work will go into you, not into your navel, because this is next to you, so it's very important to do that. So, what I want all of you to do while I'm doing this is a focus meditation. So I want you all to focus on your favourite colour. Your favourite colour. And this is especially important for you, Scott, every one of you. And so what I want you to do is visualise it coming from the universe, down just into the top of your head, and then filling your body. Just filling your body. And you do this with your eyes closed. Most people can visualise a colour very easily, which is why I say it. And so just while I'm playing the flute, just keep that colour flowing into you.
We need to close our eyes.
Close your eyes. Yeah, close your eyes. And just the other thing while you're closing your eyes is just breathing into the nose. So you're breathing in. Hold for 2 seconds, 1, 2, and then out through the mouth. And so you have to empty your stomach of air, and then you breathe in and out. Very simply, this is going to raise the energy within your body just with breathing, without the focus on the colour. So just allowing yourself now to just drift off for a couple of seconds. Now just allow yourself to come back. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, just opening your eyes. Now do this as a very short exercise initially, because most people can't meditate more than a few minutes if they haven't meditated much before. And there's a lot of people that go, oh, I can't meditate because monkey mind jumps in. And so when I was studying in India with the monks, they did a 2.5-hour seminar on sound and how to meditate with any sound that you can come up with. So whether it's the dog barking next door, whether it's a symphony orchestra, whether it's a train, whether it's just nature, you can actually work through that and use that to help you get focused, because that's what it's about. So if you find that it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, your energy has dropped, you can't focus on the job, I say to you, get up, walk out, sit down in a chair, close your eyes, breathe a little bit, put on some soft music, do that for 15 minutes, and you'll be going, wow, I feel good. You have something to eat afterwards, a cup of coffee, biscuit, whatever you've got, because you need to feed your body after a meditation. And so that'll actually get you going very, very quickly. And so that's where your focus comes in. So I find, I start work at 5:30, 6:30 in the morning, and I'll still be working at 10 o'clock at night after I finish classes. And so during the day, about 2, 3 o'clock, I start to fade in a big way. And so depending on what I need to do to prepare, I will stop what I'm doing, walk away from it, sit down in a chair somewhere and do this sort of meditation. Especially if you've got employees that are using machinery, you need to watch their times. Everyone goes out at different times. So it's not like you can just say, oh yes, everyone stop at 3 o'clock, go out, sit down and meditate for 5 minutes, because not everyone's going to be ready to do that. However, if you've got employees, it's worth noting to do. All right, so now we've got a very, very short little meditation. Scott, would you like to stand up? Just stand in there. All right, so that's where his energy is now. Now, what will happen is intrinsically, as Scott starts to take on that energy and his body assimilates with that energy, it will start to shrink again and it will go back to a normal, what I call a standard energy position. And so it takes a few minutes for that to come through. So how do you feel?
More focus. You actually look more in your eyes. Yeah.
So what I'm seeing, if I said to you I want it back here, I don't need these. I just have to walk up to somebody and I can just use my hand or my body, and I tend to use my body, and I go, right, that's where I'm feeling a change, just here. And if I get my head in the right space, I can walk in and go, right, that's the first layer of the aura, there's the second, there's the third, and if they're mixed up, I'll be able to pick up on that as well. It's just, again, my technique for what I'm doing. Thank you very much, Scott. So what I find in my business is I need to create time every day to meditate. And I say to people, 15 minutes. That's all you need, 15 minutes. If you've got monkey mind, you sit down, you close your eyes and you go, oh, I've got to go do some shopping this afternoon. Oh, I've got that meeting with somebody else. Right? It happens everywhere. It happens to me. And what's worse is you get there and you go, I've got to do the shopping. Yeah, that's cool. And you acknowledge that. Just say thank you, universe. Yeah, do the shopping. And then all of a sudden I go, I need milk. I need tuna. Oh, man, I didn't like bread. I better get some of that. Oh, that's right. I had to go and pick up that from my partner. And so then I had to work out a technique that actually helped me. And so what I did was I grabbed a clipboard and a paper, and I would sit in a chair at the dining room table, and I would have the pen and paper there, and I'd sit there and I'd just close my eyes and say, right, this is my time. This is my love. I want to give me some love. And so I would sit there, and as my mind went, okay, I'm shopping, I'll just write shopping. Thank you, acknowledge the universe that I'm working with that energy. I'm shopping, end of story, and I let it go. So then when the bill comes in, I just write bill, thanks, good, and I'll start again, and I'll go into that breathing mode. And the thing that I found helped me the most, and it was something that I'd learned here in Australia, however the monks taught me in more detail, is the breathing aspect. And so it's very, very simple. Everyone says you've got to go and do this. Mindfulness meditation, that's fantastic. Most people can't get it straight away, so they can learn. So breathing is just simply relaxing in through the nose and down into the pit of your stomach, not into your lungs. When you see people go, Like next you go, oh yes, they're breathing into the lungs, that's very good, nothing's down here. And so when you breathe in, when you hold, and you exhale that air, you control the air, make a noise. It's really good when you're sitting on a train, you're in a plane or something like that. And you're following that sound of your consciousness. And so it gives you a focal point. Most people don't do meditation properly because they don't get a focal point pointed out. They don't have something to focus on. And so simple meditation is just breathe in and then breathe out. Hear the sound in the mind, hear it through your gut, from the stomach, right through the mouth. And when it stops, it's nice and gentle. Hold for that 2 seconds. Breathe back in again. It's amazing how much difference that will make to your energy, to how you feel. Yes, touch it. You say?
No, after 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. Okay. All right. So that's what's important about meditation, is that understanding that it is easy to do. It's great for your work focus. It is good to get your employees to sit there and learn some techniques. Friends of mine who ran a very successful business. So one of their workers would go up every lunchtime, sit up in a quiet space that they created, and he would meditate every lunchtime. And then somebody else would join. So the idea is, once somebody starts the ball rolling, all it is put on some soft music and sit there and relax. So I can't sit properly and say there's no problem doing that. Just do it in the chair. You can do it anywhere you want, and just do it. It'll get your energy up. Right, so does that make sense? Yeah. So, stage 2 of tonight, this is get deadly.
Yeah. All the way from
Okay. So, we've got the lovely Debbie here. She has got a tag on because she came in late. All right, we know that she's not feeling it. So let's just go to where the energy is.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so don't you tell me off for doing that. Your energy's just gone. So, have a seat there. And while we're doing this exercise, I just want you to sit there and just allow things to happen. So I'm going to grab a chair. Count the drum with watches and things like that. Does anybody know what style this drum is? Yes, gentlemen. African drum. Really good for rhythm. So when you hear about Africans talking about their music, it's all about rhythm. All about rhythm. Whereas Native American style drums, which I also play, it's all about harmony. And in the Native American tradition, everything regarding the flute is about breath of life. So I tend to combine the rhythm with the breath of life with the harmony. And I find for me, doing music, playing an instrument, doesn't matter how good or bad you are, it's all about getting involved in what you're doing, just enjoy it. So what we're all going to do this time is we're going to put a whole lot of energy into the room, we're going to beam a whole lot of energy and Debbie up here, and we'll just see what happens with that. Who's got hands? All right, let's go. Start. Just close your eyes. Do it faster. great because I was playing one time and the drum fell forward out of my legs and I sort of went through a bit of chaos because the last thing you need is the drum falling back. All right, let's go. Okay, so here we go again. We're going to measure where the energies come to. So that's pretty good. So turn around for me. Now what people don't often realise is chakras are actually front and back. And so the energy has to be drawing into your body, which goes into your body, which will out you. So I'd like to measure the back as well. Make sure it's sort of fair there, which it is. So from being right up here to being out here, so within about 10 or 15 minutes, Deb's going to be on the high. Well, this is really good, I've got all this energy. And so if you can sustain that energy, that'll keep it going now for quite some time. So the main thing is if you're feeling not energetic, your brain just can't get into the work you've got to do, you simply walk away. And if you do nothing else, think of your favourite colour. Draw it down from the universe, right through your body into the earth, and sit there and do that for a few minutes with some breathing, and that's going to give you a good start into getting your energy up and running. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, about my 5 minutes. Is there any questions before I wander on?
We don't want to open my eyes. I saw pink just before I opened them, like flash.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
That energy, where does it come from?
Okay, the energy I'm measuring is emanating from inside the body itself. Okay, so from we have what we call a Shushuma, which is our main energy channel. So this is getting into the spiritual component of what I do. And it runs basically from your base chakra here to your crown, and it walks into the universe, into the earth. So the energy spins inwards, and that's where the word chakra comes from. It's the Sanskrit word for wheel, draws the energy in, and as the energy goes in, it then emanates out of the aura. So as the energy goes out, so when we talk about sickness, for example, most sickness comes out from outside the body. So it comes through the aura, gets through the aura because we haven't maintained what our aura is doing. We get sick, where most people go, I got sick because I've ingested or done something else. As a general rule, most people who get sick, it's come through the aura because the aura is not strong enough to withstand what's going on around. That's different from other things like cancer and stuff, it's actually emanated from inside the body. And so it is slightly different. The main one is because the energy comes in and to our bodies and then emanates out.
How cool was that?